I guess the question in terms of moving forward, like how do you move forward, is what would you like? So let's say, again, for the sake of argument, Israel stops bombing, pulls out. What would you like to see happen from there? Because you talked about the plight of the people in Gaza and in the West Bank. Let's say that all of that ends, and you talked about land. And this is one of the things I always find interesting, because obviously this is where there's such a big conflict between, because two peoples are making a claim to the same land. What should happen in terms of, like, when you say give back the land, which bit of land?
Well, first of all, if the war stops today, the first thing we need to have Israeli officials being, arrested and put to be tried for their war crimes.
Okay, let's say that happens.
Okay, and then let's talk about the bigger picture.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about the bigger picture. Like, what in your opinion, what's the origin of the conflict? Why is it a problem?
This is why I said at the beginning, I'm asking questions from the point of view of an uninformed person, because I'm uninformed. Okay. So you're going to have to tell us what you think is the solution.
Well, a shorter...
For example, on Ukraine, I think I know about it. I'm from the area. It's something I've spoken to a lot of very well knowledgeable people about. I've read lots of books about it. I can tell you what the solution is for Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. And I said it on day one of the conflict. I said how it would end, which is probably how it will end, right?
So what happened if Ukrainian refugees fled from Ukraine, came in here and claimed 20% of the land of England? Would you give it to them?
Probably not.
No.
That's exactly what happened after the Holocaust. You have people coming from Europe, coming to Palestine.
So how does this get solved now?
No. To get solved, we need to talk about the origin. You have people coming in. 1947, there was the partition. Of course, the Palestinians are like, why are we giving 55% of our land to 30% of the people that 20 years ago, they were not even in that country? So of course they said no. So Israel said like, well, no, we're keeping it. So they had the war, and of course Israel won. And now Israel's like, well, you lost it. You don't have any claim for it now. And then after 1948, Israel took 78% of the land, leaving only 22% for the Palestinians. With 1967, all of that was gone. And now Israel comes like, well, we gave you these deals and you didn't say it, but it was already a horrible deal. So you cannot really negotiate. You cannot tell me like,
let's accept all.
No, I'm just telling you, like, those Ukrainians who wanted 20%, you didn't want to give them. They ended up taking 70% of England. And it's like, well, we told you we want only 20. Now we're going to take 70. They're like, no, but I cannot accept it. So the whole idea about land, you have people, and now it's become, and I have to be, I cannot really like kick out like 9 million Israelis who've been there.
But that's why I'm asking.
It's already there.
Yeah.
It's already there. But at a certain point, the Palestinian Authority accepted 22%, which is the Oslo Accord. And even that was sabotaged by Israel. So you are basically in a position where the Palestinians have to, they are pushed into accepting really bad deals time after time after time after time again. And even that deals are not even honored by the Israelis, because they, on paper, the Israelis should not take the West Bank. And yet the West Bank is being disseminated into little Gazas. They are being disseminated by the illegal settlements that has been deemed illegal by everybody, including the British government, including the American government, and yet the Israelis are doing it anyways. So basically, you are put in a position where whatever solution we can come up with, it's not going to happen.
Well, what you would like to do is go to the settlement that was agreed in Oslo Accords.
I mean, that's a starting point.
And
at least you start from there.
What did Israel and Gaza and the West Bank look like under those agreements?
Well, under those agreements, I guess, I'm not an expert, like the whole of Gaza, and they're going to be like a land swap from inside Israel. And then the West Bank there was like, even on the table, there was like, the Palestinians will take 90% of the present West Bank, which is now, that's not even exempt because the West Bank has been eaten up by all of the settlements. So that was the Oslo Accords. But then you have Netanyahu on record who's like, oh, well, I could claim any part of the West Bank as a military facility and I can take it. So I have effectively sabotaged the Oslo Accord. So,
but that's what you'd like to go to as a solution.
Again, but that is me, and I'm not a Palestinian, but I say that's at least a starting point. But you have bigger points that I have absolutely no idea how to solve. Like, for example, the right of return. You have to remember.
What do you mean by the right to return?
There are 7 million Palestinians outside the land of Palestine that have been pushed and have been refugees all over the place. You have 2.5 million of them in Jordan. You have 500,000 in Lebanon, 500,000 in Syria. You have like all over the place.
Yeah.
Those people, their land is there. And under no circumstances Israel is accepting that those people that come back. And I don't know how to solve it, because Israel, of course, will not accept the return of 7 million Palestinians, and of course, and because that will change the demographic. So I'm telling you, you're asking me about the solution, and I'm telling you, I can come up with whatever solution, but it will not work, because there's Obama in his book, he said the problem of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is that one part is so strong, and the other part have nothing. One part have all of the support of the world, and the other part has nothing. So even in communication, if you have all of this power, why would you give up any of the stuff that you have earned, right? I pose no threat to you. All of my power will not even leave a dent in yours. So why would you give up anything?